Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of The Awesome with Cody. As usual, I'm your host, Cody, and today we are continuing the theme for September of awesome Keanu Reeves movies. So today we're going to be talking about Johnny Mnemonic. Johnny Mnemonic is got a lot of different reasons it's probably should have been on this list, other than the fact that I dig this movie a lot, and I think it was ahead of its time, and if it weren't made back then, it should have been made now, and it would have been, I think, massive. Also would have had some help getting advertising done and cross promotion with a small video game that hopefully will come out this year. That actually also has Keanu Reeves in it, and that is Cyberpunk 2077, and I'll explain why that is a conjunction in 1 second. So Johnny Mnemonic is based on a book by the same name, and oddly enough, the screenplay for this and the book were written by the same person, William Gibson. William Gibson is actually the reason I bring up Cyberpunk 2077, because he is basically credited with pioneering the science fiction subgenre known as cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, for the folks who don't know, is a subgenre of science fiction where it is in these worlds, these video games, and these stories, books, and other things, humanity has adapted technology into their bodies to enhance themselves. For example, in this movie, as well as in a lot of other cyberpunk things, is augmentations of the body itself, brain, eyes, body parts, things like that. And in this movie, and I'll get into a little bit more later, is an implant in your head that allows you to store gigabytes worth of data in your brain. The movie is a little different than the book. I haven't read the book. I just read briefly about the book, not enough to really know all the ins and outs, and if it's the same as the movie, which if it is, does explain why the movie is so fucking batshit crazy. And I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm not going to go over the whole movie, but I will be talking a little bit about it in there. But in the book or in the movie, Johnny is known as he's basically a digital trafficker. He's a mnemonic courier, as said in the movie. In it, he has this implant in his brain, wet wired, as they say, and it can hold 100. It's normally 80 gigabytes, but he uses a doubler to make it 160 gigs. But his next courier job, he was supposed to get an upgrade to be able to hold a larger amount, and that larger amount is 320 gigabytes. Nowadays, you can get 320 gigabytes in a very small package on USB media, and it's no big deal. But in this, it's his brain, and it's physically mounted in his brain, so it's not just like swapping out the drive. It's literally mounted into his frontal cortex, which causes problems. Anyhow, so in the cyberpunk world that was essentially made by Gibson, or Gibbons, Gibson. This augmentation doesn't just stop with implants. It's also replacement of limbs, replacement of facial features for bionic optics and things like that, as well as and I don't know this for sure, but I know part of it was to supplant for prosthetics. So if you lost a limb, you can get a prosthetic that would have augmented abilities because it is mechanical and, technological, things like that. So his most popular book series is called the Sprawl Trilogy. It started with Neuromancer. I can't talk, which is going to be tough on an audio podcast. Neuromancer, and was then followed up with the second book, Count Zero, and then the last one, Mona Lisa Overdrive, completing the Sprawl trilogy, which was the birth of the cyberpunk genre. He also coined the term cyberspace and widespread interconnecting digital technology, or I believe referred to as WIDI in a lot of places. And that was all created in a short story he wrote called Burning Chrome, which I don't know if Burning Chrome is the reason that Google calls their browser Chrome or not. That'd just be I could probably look that up. I'm not going to, but I would suppose that has something to do with it. But he was also William Gibson. I don't know why I call him Gibbons. I mean, it could be Gibbons because it's Gibison, but I think it's Gibson because it's Gibson. Anyhow, he's also one of the very first to create seminal works within the subgenre known as steampunk. Very similar type thing, but it's more of a, technology based on steam-powered things. Not so much replacing body parts with steam-powered objects, but technology based around the use of steam as a source of energy and propellant for things like that. And he did a trilogy that he worked with, not a trilogy, a single book he worked with Bruce Sterling on. It's an alternate history novel called The Difference Engine that is basically one of the most important works in the subgenre that is steampunk. Other things that William Gibson has done, besides writing a bunch of novels, he has he wrote the screenplay for Johnny Mnemonic based on his book. He has several other works that he's done, poetry, art, things like that. And then if his books that he's written a bunch of them. So the Sprawl trilogy, he has The Difference Engine, the Bridge trilogy, which is his other one that he did. He had Blue Ant trilogy. He had the Peripheral trilogy, and then he did Burning Chrome, which is a collection of short stories that he wrote, which includes the Johnny Mnemonic story. That's in that one, as well as Burning Chrome, which is also in that, which is called Burning Chrome. And then he wrote adapted screenplays. He wrote Archangel, Alien 3, both the graphic novel and the audio drama based on it as well, which is pretty cool. His, film adaptations, where were they? Here we go. So he wrote an early version of Alien 3, which is then later turned into the graphic novel for Dark Horse Comics in 2018-2019. He also, obviously, he did, Johnny Mnemonic. He wrote the screenplay for it, like I said. He did, where is it? He worked on an episode of X-Files, a couple of them, I think. Some other ones in the chain. I can't remember all the stuff. He didn't have a large thing, but one of his novels, The Peripheral, was picked up by Amazon late last year to be made into a television movie. I think it's a movie. It could be wrong. It could be a television program. I did not look it up. I just remember seeing it in there. There. Never mind. I clicked on it, and there it is. It's currently working on a television series adaptation of the book, which is pretty cool too, because I believe he's involved in it. I want to say he's involved in that too, if I remember seeing correctly. Trying to find it, whereas maybe he's not involved in it, but I do know it's Jonathan Nolan and his wife Lisa Joy, who are creators of the newer HBO hit series Westworld. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's William Gibson. Good Lord, Gibson. I don't know. The movie Johnny Mnemonic was directed by Robert Longo, I think is how his name is said. Maybe Longo, might be Lango. I'm not too sure. He is a American artist, filmmaker, and musician. By far, Johnny Mnemonic is his most notable work. In movie wise, he did one episode of Tales from the Crypt called "This'll Kill Ya," and then he did some music videos for New Order, Megadeth, and REM, as well as some other stuff he's done throughout the time. And oddly enough, his music so a thing called Men in the Cities series is also prominently displayed in the apartment of fictional character Patrick Bateman in the film American Psycho, which I thought was a pretty cool little thing I did not know. But yeah, that's Robert Longo. Dude's done a lot of weird shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked through some of it, and I don't know a lot of his stuff that he's done, but I do know he did Johnny Mnemonic, and I dig it a lot. That's why I'm talking about it. So again, I don't know the biggest difference between the book and the movie, but I do know that I have added the book to my very long list of to-read books. So maybe down the road I'll talk about that and like books that are based on, or books that had movies based on them or something like that. Anyhow, or I should say short stories that movies are based on, whatever. So the reason I bring up Cyberpunk 2077 along with this is because it obviously takes a lot of the genre itself, obviously created by him, essentially, but then the new video game Cyberpunk 2077 is based on the role playing game Cyberpunk 2027. I can't remember what it's called. It doesn't matter. Basically, it's a tabletop RPG like Dungeons and Dragons, but with cyberpunk stuff in it. And then turned into a video game, which actually I think the RPG was called Cyberpunk, and then later it was Cyberpunk 20-something, like 2037 or some nonsense, or 2017, I can't remember what it was called. And then now the CD Projekt Red are making Cyberpunk 2020 or 2077, which will be out later this year. And the reason I bring that up, not because it's Cyberpunk and has to do with this, but also because it does, but also because Keanu Reeves is in Cyberpunk 2077 as a character named something Silverhand. Hold on, it's right here, Johnny Silverhand. Yep, there you go. Which I don't know. Actually, I could probably tell you right now. I don't know if they use that as an homage to him being Johnny Mnemonic or not. But I do know that Johnny Mnemonic is actually mentioned in the Neuromancer book, or the second book. I can't remember. It's one of the books he's mentioned. I read about it earlier, and about how, because those all are conjoined worlds, so the world that Johnny Mnemonic takes place in is in the same world that the Neuromancer books are in, which Cyberpunk 2077 is sort of loosely kind of based on. So pretty cool that Johnny Silverhand is in Cyberpunk 2077 as I'm gonna guess an homage to Johnny Mnemonic and the work that Keanu Reeves has done in that world. I can't remember, 2018 I think is when they showed it off at the E3, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It'll be out this year. I don't know what the date is now. November? Yeah, November. Just in time for the new consoles and everything. But yeah, anyways, that's it. He's in that. I don't know if there's I didn't read through it enough to know if they, like I said, did that as an homage, or I can't imagine they just accidentally picked Johnny as the name when he played Johnny Mnemonic and the character Johnny Mnemonic and whatever. But anyhow, I would suppose it's an homage to Johnny Mnemonic. But I digress. Back to the movie. So the movie itself stars Keanu Reeves, has Dina Meyer in it, who's I always remember her from being in Starship Troopers because I love that movie, and you see her boobs in it. But she's in it. Ice-T is in it, the rapper / actor. Takashi Kanata I'm so bad right now. Takashi Kaitano, I believe is how you say his name, who is a very, very, very popular actor, director, and producer over in Japan, as well as he's been in a lot of things in United States as well. You have Dolph Lundgren is in it. Henry Rollins is in it. I think that's the most notable people that are in it. Takashi Kitano is best. Let's see where. Where was it? I don't think I had it pulled up before. Filmography. Well, he was in Zatoichi, The Blind Swordsman. He was in Boiling Point, which is an amazing movie. What other one? Well, he's in Battle Royale, which is easily the basis for the Hunger Games. He's been on so many things that a lot of people haven't seen because they don't watch enough Japanese movies. I've never seen any of the TV show stuff he's been in, but he's been in a bunch of those for several years. But movie-wise, he's been in, so many different movies. It's ridiculous. Boiling Point is probably one of the best examples, or not examples, but movies he's been in. Like I said, Battle Royale, Zatoichi, Izo, or Izo, I can't remember how to say that. Yeah. That's all the ones I can say. Very notable. I've seen him in a handful of things, as I said. But anyways, Ice-T, like I said, he's in it. Dolph Lundgren is in it. Henry Rollins is in it. Dina Meyer is in it. So, basically, what I said earlier about the movie being batshit crazy is, it's batshit crazy. Lots of violence. Very mid-90s. It was released in 95. Was made in 93, if I'm not mistaken. But it takes place in the year 2021, so we're almost here, guys. So we're almost there. We almost get to the part where we get to implant hard drives into our brains. So that'll be fun. So, like I said earlier, his implant is only 80 gigs, but he uses a doubler, which is basically a funny way of saying a compression algorithm. Because saying the back then, I don't think they had the wordage or verbiage for it. But basically, what the doubler does, or compression technology, is it takes and it doubles the amount of space you can hold, but it's unstable. It's not a full upgrade. It's a temporary thing. Well, he thinks that that's going to be enough, but it's really not. He would have needed to do a quadrupler, really, because it ends up being the package he's taking is 320 gigabytes. He accepts this knowing that it could actually do very bad damage to his brain, and he does it anyways because he needs the money and the job to basically have his short-term memory or long-term memory fixed because he's missing his childhood and who he is for the most part from when or how he grew up. Which is a weird subplot they don't really go into too much. But yeah, anyways, he does this. A corporation who basically wants the data that's being put into his cybernetics captured and saved because it has very top secret information on it, which is the cure for a disease that's ravaging the world's population due to the inclusion of electronics into our bodies. And the disease itself is uncurable and the causes are unknown, but this pharmaceutical company has discovered the cure for it and how it's spread, and they're being basically stopped from producing the cure. So much like the common cold, it's often theorized that we have the cure for the common cold, but there's no money in curing it. There's only money in eliminating it currently. So basically, like, just fixing it, not actually curing it. Same thing with the flu. And right now, of course, the reason I said this is very poignant to nowadays is the pandemic we're currently going through with the coronavirus or COVID-19. There are rumors that there is a cure and that their government is hiding it from us and blah, blah, blah. It's the same idea in this. And so he finds this out. He says, shit, well, let's get this out of my brain for two reasons. One is we can help all these people, but also it's killing me, so I want this out of my brain super quick. And so the battle's on between Pharmacom and their Yakuza brethren, guys they hire to take Johnny out and cryogenically freeze his head so they can try to extract the data to be the most powerful pharmaceutical company in the world with the cure for the black shakes or black, what do they call it? Sorry, hit the microphone. Can't remember what they refer to it. But basically, it's a disease that's NAS is what it's called, neuro something or other. Oh my God, where's it at? I don't remember what they called it. NAS is the disease, also known as like black shakes. I don't remember where they refer to it in this little thing I had up here. Doesn't matter. Watch the movie, you'll find out. And so he teams up with Jane, who is a cybernetically enhanced bodyguard on the outs because she has the black shakes and no one wants to fucking take her. Where's it at? Oh, and then Takashi Katana, or Beat Katana, is the basically CEO of Pharmacom, right? Is that what he is? I think it's what he is. Anyhow, and he sends his main thug after them, and during the process, the code, the passcode or decryption code that is created during the implant of the storage or of the data is supposed to be faxed to the other end, so the courier can go there and they can decode it without him being able to access it. But that's interrupted. The three images are scattered. Johnny has one in a third of one of them, and the other 2/3 of the second one and the final third one are taken and held by Takashi's character in stopping them, and they want to use that and get into it. Johnny has to then team up with Lo-Fi's, which is a group of humans who are against the augmentation of the human body, and they don't really believe in technology, even though they are using technology against the techno-advanced, and they're hijacking broadcasts and hacking different systems to help free the world from the tyranny of these corporations that are using the technology to hold everybody down. Anyhow, he then is told that because of the complexity of the hack, because they don't have all the things, he needs to go meet Jones. So Jones, you may ask, why is Jones important? Well, Jones is the most powerful hacker that anyone knows of, so Johnny reluctantly goes there. Turns out Jones is a dolphin who's been cybernetically enhanced by the Navy to hijack submarines and use sonar to destroy enemy vessels, and they use his advanced brain to hack systems. Yep. Yeah. So then Johnny teams up with him to hack his own brain, and then they get it. Spoiler. And then they broadcast the cure out to the masses through the Low-Tech's network of broadcasting, and sends the cure out amongst the world to the free world, so the big company Pharmacon can't hold the cure from everybody. And there you go. That's your movie. That's Johnny Mnemonic. There's a lot more in there. I didn't talk about the Spider's role, which is Henry Rollins, or Carl Hoeing, who is also known as a street preacher, played by Dolph Lundgren. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things in this. It's definitely not the most gorgeous movie ever. It's very, very sci-fi, but the problem is made in the mid-90s, so not a lot of advanced technologies involved in it, so, some lackluster stuff going on. But anyhow, that's it for this week's episode of The Awesome with Cody. As usual, I'm your host, Cody, and like I always say at the end of these, let's be awesome.